calling the Oglala Sioux Tribe Courthouse.
Good afternoon, courthouse.
This is Joanne Spotted Bear. We had a half-hour break. I was wondering if you could transfer me back in the courtroom.
I can't transfer you to the courtroom.
To Nikki. I was just transferred in there. We've been on the phone for about an hour now, and then we had a half-hour break.
Oh, okay. Let me see if Nikki's back in there. Are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Well, let me transfer you. There?
Yes.
We got you on speakerphone. We'll get the judge.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Please be seated, everybody. The record should show that the Plaintiffs Tribal Court is coming back on record at 4:24. I believe we have to wait for a phone call back for Ms. Spotted Bear, so we're a few minutes late, but we'll go on time. I'm going to call out the name of all parties if you can answer orally, so the record will reflect your presence. I appreciate it. Joanne Spotted Bear.
Here.
Okay. Thelma Dorothy Dorothy Poor Bear. Here. And Holly Wilson, present here. Okay. Ms. Wilson, I believe you have your case. Is that correct? Yes, Your Honor. We're not going to provide any more witnesses. This statement should be rejected. Okay. So, with that, we would like to do a closing. That's appreciated. Ms. Spotted Bear, I want to advise you before you get started with the case. The court is limited today's hearing to the petition of Thelma and Dorothy Poor Bear, and to your petition only so much as it bears on burial. That is all that needs to be decided today by the court. The court has trouble getting a hold of all living relatives, which is what the court expects to do. The court is reluctant to go forward with anything except what is absolutely necessary so that we can pursue additional actions. Try to notify errors prior to any other portion of the program. You understand this, Spotted Bear? Could you hear me?
You were breaking up, but I understood most of what you were saying, yes.
Okay, I'll repeat it. The court is only hearing today the petition regarding who should be the administrator of your brother's estate regarding burial purposes only. That includes the wake. It includes all things related to the burial, such as who the pallbearers are, etc. The meal that accompanies it, any giveaway that might accompany it, all of the details surrounding the actual burial up through the dirt being always on the coffin. I don't believe there has been a request for money to be set aside for a marker, but should that come up, there would be a supplemental hearing. But all things related to that burial site and the burial, I want to hear about. All things related to anything else on the probate is not relevant today. Now, did you hear me, Spotted Bear?
Yes.
Are you on a cell phone by any chance?
No, I'm on a home phone.
But you should be able to hear this clearly. Let me know if it's breaking up at any time, and we'll have whatever is going on repeated.
Okay, thank you.
And there is, don't forget, both an oral and a recorded record of today's proceedings. You have to pay for the cost of reproduction when upon motion is available to either party.
Okay.
All right. Now the point in time is Spotted Bear for you to present any of your testimony that you think would give the judge clear opinion with regard to the plaintiff's testimony that relates to burial.
Okay. Your Honor, as you have noticed that Thelma never had legal adoption over my brother Andy, nor is she the biological mother of Andy.
Spotted Bear?
Yes.
I didn't stop talking.
Okay.
Wait, listen to your name. As soon as I am done talking, I will say something that will end your name. And that means I'm done talking.
Okay.
A lot of federal practice, or used to do a lot of federal practice, and a lot of it was done in courts that did hearings exactly. So certain rules, if you've done it a lot, you're used to it. If you haven't done it a lot, demonstrate saying you're not used to it and you have a harder time. So try to remember your name, because I'm always going to bring you in and ask for your comments at any point in the meeting when it looks like you should. You understand me?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and the final thing I wanted to do is Spotted Bear. Before I consider anything today, I need to swear you in as this. So, please stand and raise your right hand and tell me when you're ready.
Okay.
solemnly swear or affirm that the statements you are about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do, Your Honor.
Please be seated and start by telling me your full name.
My full name is Matogleshka Wee, Bear Woman. My English name is Joanne Spotted Bear. That's my full name.
Thank you. Will you please proceed to tell the court anything you believe material issue of the ability of the plaintiff, Mrs. Mestis and Ms. Poor Bear, as well as anything that the court needs to know regarding how you are more qualified to complete a burial, which needs to be completed within 2 years.
Okay. May I speak?
I just said your name. You interrupted me. Please speak as far.
Okay. Your Honor, as we have was going here through this court here, I established to the court that Thelma Mestis is not the legal mother of Andy Runningcock, nor does Thelma Mestis have legal adoption papers for Andy Running Cock. I have also proven to the court that within the Running Cock family and between the family members, we've always had dysfunctional family history, and that no matter how dysfunctional our family is, we love one another. Paulette told me she loved me also, and through this dysfunction, we had established of how much dislike there was towards me, from the hospital to the documents to hearsay. We even established the point that Paulette couldn't remember whether it was an X or a signature, or if it was October or December. We also established that Mike Sandler of the Sioux Funeral Home has given out federal advice on how to bury a person. And quite frankly, you don't have 2 days to bury a person. You can cremate them today. And Andy can come to me, and he doesn't have to have any services, due to the simple fact that Thelma and Iris had spent majority of their time, as they claim, in the hospital with Andy. However, we have also established that none of our family members, my grandpa Floyd or myself, we were not contacted. Thelma stated that there was only 2 family members, Julie Marshall and Joanne Spotted Bear, who's myself, when the reality there was Crystal, Juan, Julie, Joanne, and Andy. There was 5 kids. And there was no mention from Thelma about my grandpa Floyd. There was no mention on my mother's history of alcoholism or abuse that happens within the Oglala Sioux Tribal community. The dysfunction that's happening on our land. We all know that. That's not a secret. That's known notoriously worldwide at this point.
Just Spotted Bear,
Yes.
I need to note on the record that at 4:36, the change in the occupants of the courtroom occurred because the clerk, who is able to have normal court hours, entered the courtroom down at the court clerk's desk. The court clerk, who worked the regular court hours, included 4:30. That court clerk.
Okay, I'm going to have you restate that again.
Yes, I can restate that louder. At approximately 4:36, the court clerk, working the normal court hours, which are 8 to 4:30, left the courtroom. The court clerk, who was able to take hours after 4:30, entered the courtroom prior to clerk number 1, who works until 4:30, left. So we have a different court clerk in the courtroom because that is a change in the court personnel. I like to be thorough and note it for the record in case the court proceedings go up to the Supreme Court.
Okay, that'd be great.
Please proceed with further.
Okay, thank you. We have also established for the court and for the record that Dorothy Janice Poor Bear and Thelma Mestis had forgotten that Chet and Mulaney Stoneman was in the hospital room when they were doing the paperwork, the healthcare paperwork. We also established that there was no mention whatsoever in the court on if Andrew Frank Running Cock Jr. was in the courtroom at this time of proceedings. However, there is a signature proceedings that are there. And there was no given date as to when the letter was written to Thelma. There wasn't no phone number. There was nothing like that given to me. We have also established that Paulette, once in her life, used to do cocaine with my brother. So therefore, Your Honor, I feel that my brother, Andy Frank Running Cock, deserves his last days with his biological family, because the reason for this is children don't know how to take care of ashes. That's number one. And the Lakota way tradition is very important. And so is the death of family members. They should remain within the family, whether they're dysfunctional or not. We have a lot of people within the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation who is drinking and doing drugs to this current moment. As a matter of fact, our president, Brian Brewer, is trying to allow alcohol on the reservation along with marijuana. Those are given facts of the newspaper of the Native Sun. We have a fact that there was a video that was not presented within the court, and the police officer had damaged his back and he could not show up. So therefore, I feel that there was enough lies being directed towards me as my brother Andy's biological sister, whereas these families, they do not want me to have anything whatsoever with my brother, even down to his last very, very moment. And I feel very sad to say, because Yerma Fidey's utmost good faith requires that everybody have respect for one another. However, I don't feel very respected right now. And I also feel that Dorothy Janice did not give her honest report on behalf of her blood disease and taking medicines for her leg. She should not be driving. That was what the report she told me. So I feel like there was a lot of lies in here. However, Your Honor, whichever way you decide to take this, I too am recording this whole conversation, this whole court case. And I will always love my brother. I loved him the day he shot me in my hand and ran me over with the car. I loved him the day I sundanced with him, just as the day he died. And I had to find out on Facebook. This family, Thelma, or her daughters, or her kids, Paulette, or Iris, not one of them ever called me to tell me my brother died. Was it that much hate, or is it that much dysfunction toward me that makes me feel like I do not exist no more? Is that how they feel about me? Is that what you're going to let them feel towards me as Andy's biological sister? Because if it is, then I only have one hope. My hope would be that Creator Almighty God would remember me forever as Andy's biological sister. Because these people right here, they could care less if Andy was related to me or not. That's how I feel, and that's going to be my last statement, is I do love my brother. And I didn't have to prove it to nobody. I did this because I wanted to be with my brother one last time, whether he believed it or not. At least I'm trying to show it. I'm not out getting drunk and I'm not out getting high. I'm not out creating mischiefs for other people's family. Quite honestly, Andy is my biological brother. That's why I'm here today. So with that being said, I hope you make a good judgment. And I hope you return my brother to me. Whether you give us any money at all or not, I will take care of my brother because I love him with my life. I got an unconditional kind of love for my brother. So, Your Honor, this is going to be up to you. I've said my piece. I did my part. And I'm here to prove it. Hohechetolo. Thank you. It'll be that way forever. Are you there?
I'm here. Are you completed on your statement?
Yes, I am.
Wish to say?
What?
I said, is that everything? You then interrupted me and I said,
That's everything. That's everything right there. I said everything.
completed my statement and said, wish to say, so that the entire statement would be on the record. Is that everything you wish to say?
Yes, I would like my brother back with me. That's what I would like. I don't think Thelma or Iris or Paulette deserve to be with my brother anymore. They've done their part. It's done. It's over. My brother's gone. Let us have the very last moments with him. We shouldn't be in court for that. It should be a given natural family respect. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Is there any cross-examination? Your Honor, she did mention, she stated something for the record about Floyd running off, and he's in the audience, Your Honor. He's an elder, and he'd like to make a statement to the before I do my statement. Any objection?
No objection for my grandpa, Your Honor.
I need you to come forward. You're running off. I need you to come forward close enough to the door that they can make sure that you got it. Okay. I'm turning things over here. I'm losing people. I need to make sure Miss Watt is there. I can hear you. I'm listening.
I shouldn't hear listening. I am 74 years old. I'm the head of the family.
Yes.
Left now.
Yes.
But I have left. And as far as I know, Andy, my parents raised him, infant, up to the time I went to school. And I forgot about it was. But my nephew Fred Estes, he took him in, his family. I put away his daughter-in-law.
The record of the is pointing at Thelma.
And together the region was their kids. They put him through high school. High school. others. In a way, he's more like a real mother. A real mother to him. She calls him mom. I think, anyway, I think it's best to just hear it that way, you know. And I'd like to see you're like my grandson.
Yes.
And my dad kind of adopted him like with the way.
Yeah.
So in a way, he's my brother. I spent a lot of years with him. I want him to go.
Can't get a bunch of water. Why don't we wait for the water? I believe there was a stool right there. You can fire it up. Just with it might be a little more.
Anyway, I want him to make his last journey in a peaceful way. Like that. Peaceful way. Like that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to leave it up to Thelma to handle all that.
Do you think your little brother would want to go on his way in a peaceful way?
Yes.
And do you think your little brother would agree that Thelma should handle those things? Did my questions cause you to have any questions, Ms. Spotted there? Joanne, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Did you hear my question?
Yes. Grandpa Floyd. You raised me, didn't you?
What?
Whenever I left Beatrice Weasel Bear's home, I come to stay with you and Grandma Lenora, right?
Yeah.
And our family, we have a family tradition of loving one another, right?
Right.
And when my brother died, how did you find out?
I got a call. I think it was Irish.
As I remember, I believe it was Maxine who called you the way you told me.
Irish called and Maxine called. And Larry called. A lot of people called.
And I called you, right? I called you too, Grandpa, right?
Yeah.
And I asked you, what did I ask you? What was the exact words that I asked you?
I don't even remember.
Then did I say, Grandpa Floyd, Andy died? And I said, Grandpa Floyd, did you hear? Did anybody contact you? Isn't that what I said?
Let's see, so I don't know.
And one, you said, yeah, one person. That was it. At that one phone call, that was it. So I told you, I said, Grandpa Floyd, I said, I cried to you and I told you I found out over Facebook how I knew my brother was dead. Is that a family tradition to find out somebody died over the internet? Is that right?
Not really.
Okay, do you feel that Thelma or Iris or Paulette should have called me? Logically, that would be a good way, right?
Yeah, that would be, but...
Yeah, and that would be respectful, correct, Grandpa? Isn't there an Indian name for respect?
What?
What's the Indian name for respect, Grandpa?
Akaripi.
Okay. What's when somebody dies, shouldn't we have that Indian traditional respect for one another, whether we like each other or not?
Right.
Okay. This whole court case, I felt like there was hate towards me. I felt like there was no love towards me. Now, is that how you want me to remember my brother? These people here, they don't want me to have my brother.
How close were you to him?
If you forgot, my brother shot me and I forgave him. If you forgot, my brother ran over me and I forgave him. Just in case you didn't know, Grandpa, I sundanced twice for Andy. Chet Stoneman and Mulaney Stoneman gave him peyote. And Thelma said that that peyote way is not the way that she wants for Andy. Thelma's grandson told me to my face, my eagle feathers are not gonna save my brother's life. He's gonna die anyway. That's what I was told. So in that Lakota way, that traditional way, that respectful way, I was disrespected as a Lakota carrying a chanupa and eagle feathers. I'm disrespected right now in this courtroom by Iris and Thelma and Paulette. They all spoke bad about me. They don't want me to have my brother. Nobody. The way I feel, I was close enough to my brother spiritually. I love my brother. I want my brother with me. At least his last days, Grandfather. When he goes, he ain't gonna come after this. Today's his 4th day. At least they got to see his last breath. I didn't. They were willing to put me in jail, Grandfather. That's not respect. That's hate.
Okay, Andy's gone now. He's going a long journey. Get on the other side. All the things that he has done in the past. Put them all down. No more.
Then give him back to me.
You believe in it, like with the culture, you gotta think about those things. Evidently, you don't know too much.
I know he's my brother, Grandfather. I know that.
So,
My real biological brother. He's not adopted. He's not given to away. He's real. He's my blood. That's the Lakota way, the true way.
but right now, all we're here for is to make a way for Andy, the grandson Andy, to send him on that journey in a good way, Lakota way. The culture, we gotta go. You gotta remember that. If you loved him that much, if you trusted him that much, you should have been over here with him.
I was. They were gonna put me in jail, Grandfather. That's what I'm trying to tell you. They don't like me. They wanted me in jail and wrap it. They said I hit Thelma. I never did.
If you behave like a human being, like a Lakota, that would have never happened.
I'm a law advocate. I'm an assistant judge and a Tetuan treaty member. I have a right to speak up. I can't hit nobody, but I can speak up. That judge, she speaks up when I'm wrong.
But I don't know, Joanne. I don't know what to tell you.
Just give my brother back to me. Thelma had her share. Iris had her share. Paulette, she had her share doing cocaine with my brother and getting high and drinking with him. Me, I didn't do none of that. At least these last couple days, let me and my brother spend time together.
I don't know what to tell you.
For the record, Joanne, this is Paulette, and it was an experience with your brother, and you need to record that. I've been in sobriety for 5 years, so get over it.
Just like you want me to get over my brother being gone and you guys could bury him without me, huh?
Okay, that's
That's the next
okay.
one.
Bye-bye.
I was just...
Thank you.
Miss Poor Bear, she has something else.
Judge, when it's all said and done, I believe you have your mind made up to give my brother to Thelma. And you're not going to listen to what I have to say. You're not going to abide by what my feelings are. Nobody gives a damn how I feel about my brother. So you go ahead and you make your decision. But in my heart, I'm always going to love Andy, irregardless what any of you say or think about me. Our sister, Julie Marshall, don't even know Andy's dead right now. Who got a hold of her? Who told her? Does Julie know Andy's dead?
Do you have any other remarks?
No, I'm done. I'll listen. Shit.
Anything further? Just closing your other. The co-plaintiff, if they're closing first, unfair, you're not allowed to speak, and because both plaintiffs, you want.
I need you to speak up, please. Your Honor.
I'm explaining to everyone in the courtroom, and I'm going to talk to your grandfather, because then I think I'm loud enough that you can hear me on the phone. I'm explaining to everyone the procedure that will be used. First, the co-plaintiffs who filed first, they will have a closing remark. That means you can say your take and your opinion on the evidence. It doesn't have to be what's in evidence. The court has to remember what's in evidence. Okay? After the co-plaintiffs speak through their advocate, Ms. Wilson, who is the only one allowed to speak during closing, then Ms. Spotted Bear, you will have your chance to speak and say the things that you think the judge should know to make a good decision on the case. This is the time for you to say all your opinions regarding what was said.
Yes, Your Honor.
This is the point in time when you can say things that are not in evidence, but are things that you think the average Lakota woman should know or the average Lakota man should know. Okay? When you are done with your remarks, because you're both plaintiffs, I'm going to allow you both to speak one more time. Ms. Wilson, you will go first. Ms. Spotted Bear, you will go second. Please don't feel rushed. I may ask some questions, but I'm not trying to rush either party. Ms. Wilson, please start your closing statement. On behalf of my client, Thelma Dorothy, please come forward close to the telephone. I know it's hard to remember to speak loudly. And remember, Grandpa wants to hear. Okay. On behalf of my client, Thelma Dorothy, can you hear?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Can you hear me, Floyd? Here? Yes. Come up and have a seat. I want to make sure everyone can hear. Your grandfather can't hear Ms. Spotted Bear, so you know what's going on. I'm letting him come forward in the courtroom and have a seat so he can hear as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Now, please proceed, Ms. Wilson, loudly. I know you have a sore throat. Okay, thanks. On behalf of my clients, Thelma Masters and Dorothy Poor Bear, and on behalf of Andrew, the deceased member, we're requesting that the letter of administration, the limited letter of administration be granted to them so that they can provide the necessary arrangement with the burial of this young man. And it's due to the fact that there was a traditional adoption, Lakota adoption, with this young boy. It didn't come through court. It didn't have to. They done it the Indian way. And he was raised by a great family. And he was loved by many family members of his own bloodline. And today we've provided a power of attorney and a living will that was executed before a notary of the public. Them documents were submitted into the record. So, and we've also heard a lot of testimony about Andrew's illness. His adopted mother babysitted for 5 months. She missed Thanksgiving. She missed Christmas dinner with her family because he was more important. And they all know this, but she stayed there as a mother. And then when he died, his last thing was he told his mother he loved her. I think that's just awesome. You know, that this man, he loved her as a mother. We heard testimony from Joanne that there was no legal adoption. There's no bloodline. This family, this lady here, who is elderly now, she done her job. And she done it clear up to the end. And she still has unfinished business, such as laid him to rest, fulfilling his dying wishes. He made his own list of pallbearers. He made what he told his mom was how he wanted to have 2-night wait and then get cremated, where his ashes would be, the final resting spot in Silver Lake after a year. So he shared these things with his mom. And I feel that, this family took him in and they loved him unconditionally. And they still helped him. Even if he was a sick man, they took care of him. So we're asking for just limited appointments to get through the funeral. Andrew's body isn't going to last like a normal person because he has dialysis. Yes. No kidney function. And I think the funeral home documented a letter to the court explaining that, the last very long, and they might have a closed casket.
Your Honor, excuse me, I'd like to ask a question. Can I please call you back in 2 minutes? My phone's gonna die and I have to switch out phones. Just give me a minute just to switch out phones, please.
I will do that. I will leave the courtroom for 2 minutes at minimum. The clerk will notify me when you're back on the line.
No, just give me, I just need to switch out the phone, that's it.
I'm leaving the courtroom.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Okay, thank you. Yes, I am. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Yes, I am. No, I just want to give my statement and how I feel about this whole thing. Okay, first want to tell Holly thank you for standing up in court all the time. I've seen you do some great work over the couple years I was in Pine Ridge as an advocate. And I think you do a great job. But, however, when it comes to family and tradition, Holly, you wasn't there when I played the flute for my brother and I sang him peyote songs. And our relationship, as far as my brother's concerned, it didn't start when he was dead. It started when I was born. Andy's the firstborn. I'm the secondborn. Our relationship didn't start when Andy shot me in the hand or almost killed me whenever I was 6 years old. No, it didn't start then. It started when I was born. It didn't start when he died. So I think that's irrelevant. That needs to be thrown out the court. I also think that relationship for my brother and I sundanced for him. He drove with me through the Black Hills. We had a good time. I understand the elders, they need to eat and they need to take their medicine. I understand that my grandfather, Floyd Runningcock, he's an elder. But we have people in our family too who are young. We're not perfect. Not everybody has straight teeth and works at the Oglala Community High School or the college or drives fancy cars. Matter of fact, majority of my family are on foot, live in poverty and genocide. My family was never the best family. As I told you before, my mother was an alcoholic. We had a dysfunctional family. As for the Lakota ways, Your Honor, the real traditional way, I told you, Your Honor, that Thelma did not want the peyote around my brother. Matter of fact, Chet Stoneman and Mulaney Stoneman, that's why they were at the hospital. They gave peyote to Andy 3 days so he can live. There was supposed to be a fourth one that never got finished. Chet was crying because they pushed that peyote away. I've also told you about the eagle feathers. What Thelma's grandson said. She said that those eagle feathers would never keep my brother alive. Our Lakota way is based on that chanupa. It's based on that sundance. It's based off of them eagle feathers. Yes, Thelma adopted my brother in the Lakota way, but she didn't honor the Lakota ways. Matter of fact, I feel I'm being dishonored right now. As you notice, throughout this court session, I broke down and cried. Not once, not twice, 3 times. Nobody in this courtroom sympathized with how I felt for my brother. Not Holly, not you, the judge, not nobody. Everybody. Tell me about my brother. Tell me about these traditional ways. They all want my brother to bury him and have that money and do this and do that. Me, I don't want that money. If that's all they want, have the money, but give my brother back to me. I don't need that money. I live in my own apartment. I have a car. My brother, all I want is to talk to him. I didn't want him to leave me. He was too young. He was only 1 year older than me. I don't want to let my brother go. I don't wish badness on people. That's why I want my brother. They said, did you have a connection with your brother? My grandpa Floyd, he asked me, did you have a connection? Yes. We had a great connection. We came out of a mother who drank and did drugs and died that way. A lot of people in Pine Ridge, kids are committing suicide. Young adults are dying of alcohol and drugs, and nobody's saying anything about their families. People are practicing the sun dances, 500 sun dances, and nobody says nothing about that. But when I do it, oh, I'm a bad person. Oh, I'm not good enough for my brother. Oh, I'm a half sister. Well, you know what? At least I'm his sister. The real thing, the real deal. Me, I love my brother no matter which way this goes. But like I said, if Thelma and Iris, all they want is that money, that $1,200 for my brother, have it. But give me my brother, cremate him and send him to me. Give me his remains, all of them. And as for that mortuary man, he's not a lawyer. He's to run that funeral services only, that embalm the body and dress them. He's not a professional doctor. So he's given advice to the court. He's given advice where he shouldn't. The doctor from Rapid City Regional, they should have given you guys that advice, that professional advice, because they took care of Andy for 9 years. He had diabetes. In 3 years, he had a fistula that would never heal. My brother was on the highest pain medicine of mankind. That's why they said to cremate him after Monday. Nobody said that part about the fistula. That means that my brother was real bad shape. Nobody ever mentioned about 3 years ago when my brother got those fistulas that he needed a care home, intensive care home for adults to help him to heal those fistulas so he can live. Instead, they let the fistulas get worse and worse and worse, and finally it took my brother's life along with that diabetes. You heard, Your Honor, Paulette herself, she gave testimony. She did cocaine with my brother. She made cover up. 5 years she's been clean. But I don't live with her. You don't live with her. Holly Wilson don't live with her. I asked Iris, do they have a relationship? Does Paulette have a relationship with their mom? They didn't want to answer that. Yes, I live in Reno, Nevada. I have a right to grow up. I have a right to have a family. I have a right to call my brother and spend time with him when I can. We don't live with our family members 24/7. My grandpa, he has kids. Matter of fact, one of them's in the hospital, broke his back. But that don't mean my grandpa don't love his sons or his grandkids or his great-grandchildren. We all love each other in our own dysfunctional way. So what I'm requesting, Your Honor, is I would like to have my brother, and if Thelma, all they want is the money, have it. But please send my brother to me. I don't care. I'll sit right by myself, and my brother and I, we will eat. We'll eat together. Whatever I cook, we'll eat it. Just in case you didn't know, I'm overweight, and my brother told me, Joanne, lose weight. You're going to wind up like me, and it ain't no fun laying here. Diabetes is not a fun thing, Joanne. Go lose weight. Paulette told me that. Andy told me that. Both of them. They forgot. Paulette didn't tell you he said that. So yes, we have a love. We have a bond. And that was traditional. Traditional as traditional can get. We loved each other. We didn't have to show the world. There was a dream my brother wanted, and he wanted me to have a log cabin in Wounded Knee so we could sit there with shotguns just in case somebody tried to rob Wounded Knee. Because that's where I'm officially from on my dad's side. My brother, he told me he would help protect Wounded Knee. Yes, Thelma's right. Iris is right. He does want to be cremated and spread over the Black Hills. I can come home and I can do that with him when I'm ready. But at least let me spend some time. Thelma got to see his last breath. I didn't. As I told you, they wanted me in jail. They didn't want me there. They're making it look like I didn't care about my brother whatsoever at all. But I was there when Zelda Fasthorse died. I went to my grandma Zelda's funeral and I went to visit Andy. 2 weeks later, I was told that Andy was going to die and I better get home before Christmas. And I did it. Paulette called me. She told me. We got along on good terms. It wasn't always bad. It was never the way they made it sound. But the way I feel right now, Your Honor, I feel like I don't know what the heck they're doing. They changed somehow. They made me worse than I am. And sometimes the way they make me feel, I feel like our traditional ways don't matter to the greater Lakota. If they had real honor in traditional values as they say they do, give it back to the original family. That would be me, his sister. Deep in Thelma's heart, she knows that he is my brother and I am his sister. What is so wrong with the last moments for my brother and I? Your Honor, they say I didn't love my brother, but I made videos. I made peyote videos. I have pictures of my brother. I played the flute for my brother. I asked Chet Stoneman and them to give peyote to my brother so he can live. Thelma and them didn't tell you guys that they read my brother his last rites in December. He wasn't even dead and already they were reading his last rites. Made me feel like they wanted him dead that day. And then they didn't want me around. They forgot that. They didn't tell you that. Holly didn't mention that this whole court case. They never mentioned they read his last rites in December. Paulette, she goes to college. She's getting her degree. She didn't mention it. Iris, she said that's her nephew and she loves him. She didn't mention that they read his last rites in December. Here it is, February. Thelma, she says she loved my brother. And she didn't even tell you about those last rites that were read. But yet, Your Honor, they tell you that they love my brother very much. But I'm here to tell you that they don't love my brother the way I do. If the money is all they want from the tribe, go get it, have it. Give them that limited authority of that money. That's all they want. And they can go spend it however they want. Do what you want with it. But give me my brother back. I don't need that money. Respect me as a Lakota Wia. I love my brother. I prayed with my brother. I sundanced for my brother. Right now I'm asking for my brother and I don't even want a dime from you or anybody in this courtroom. That's the real Lakota way. I will always carry these eagle feathers that my brother held on to, even though they said they'd never save my brother's life. In my eyes, my brother's going to be alive in those eagle feathers. In my eyes, when I sundance, I'm going to know that my brother's looking down on me. When I pray, I'm gonna know that my brother loves me, and when I cry, my mom and my brother are gonna know that I care for them. When you have real love, real deep compassion, you miss your family and you never want nothing bad to happen to them. And when you love your family, you never try to take them away from anybody, and you try to give them life to the best of your ability. When those last rites were read to my brother, I didn't see love. My brother wasn't even dead. Heck, he was still in sound mind, as they put it. He was pumped up, full of drugs, the highest potent medicine of mankind. He was open his eyes, move his arms. But they read him his last rites. Shit, I thought my brother was supposed to die right after the last rites were read. Made me cry, made me hurt. And here my brother lived till February 18th. So with that being said, Your Honor, you can give them limited authority, give them that money, that's what they want. But the authority I'm asking for is give me my brother back. They can have all the money they want. But I want my brother back with me. And I'm gonna say it like that, and I don't mean no disrespect to my grandpa. But Grandpa Floyd, you know that Andy and I, we have the same mom. And I wouldn't be crying if I didn't love my brother. I wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be sitting in court. I would never waste my time. And I don't waste my time on people I don't love because I don't know them enough to love them. But my brother, we had a lifetime history together. Maybe not like Thelma and them would have wanted us to have it, but we had a dysfunctional family. Keep in mind, my mom was an alcoholic, and she died that way. Andy and I used to cry for our mother. We used to talk about our mother. We used to wish she was alive. And Holly, if my mom was alive, to this day, right now, Andy would be telling my biological mother, Mom, I love you. Mom, I'm glad you're here. He would say that to my biological mom. He would never dishonor my mom because my mom loved Andy. Andy was her favorite out of all of us kids. That was her firstborn. She may not have been perfect, but she knew that she loved Andy. Andy used to help me change Julie's diapers. We used to carry Julie to our great-grandpa's house so they can feed us because we had no food because our mom was an alcoholic. So, Your Honor, that's the kind of family we used to have. Today, I'm asking for my brother. Now, let me tell you something the way I feel. If Thelma would have called me and told me, Joanne, your brother died. I'm sorry for your loss. Can we work together? Let's put our differences down and work together. I would have respected her, anything she wanted. Because I know that Lakota respect as a Lakota woman. But nobody called me. Matter of fact, I learned that Thelma put in a petition for Andy's paperwork today through this court by listening. My grandpa, when I called him, he said that nobody called him, and then he said that one person called him, and then Iris, and then different people called him. So with that being said, Your Honor, take all this into consideration that the family, the biological family, was not notified. As I told you, my sister, Julie Marshall, where is she? And does she know that he is dead right now? And what is going on? I can almost say and guarantee 100% Julie Marshall does not know Andy's dead. So, Your Honor, with that being said, I'm going to leave the rest up to you to let you decide how you're going to do things and what you're going to do about my brother, but I'd ask you to please take into consideration that limited authority, they could have the money and I want my brother back. So, Hohechetelo, thank you for your time. No, because Thelma and had the security of Rapid City, and the coordinator Ace removed me from the hospital, and they made sure I could not see my brother. That's why I on January 6th, I think it was, I left Rapid, and I did not go back to see my brother. However, on January 1st through the 6th, I did make certain appointments with my niece Shelby. And Shelby Running Hawk told me that Thelma and her family did not want Shelby around me. After I had come back to Reno, Nevada, they said that Thelma and her family made sure that Shelby could not see her dad and while he was still alive, and when she called, that they had to have a code to talk to Andy, that because of the molestation issue, they made sure that Shelby could not see her dad, and because Shelby was talking to me. And I handed Shelby's conversation, like I said, over to the Nebraska state senators, and to have a look, because the school district, the police department, and DSS knew about what was going on within Andy's home, and nobody did nothing about it. And so with the full report and videos, those were sent over to Nebraska state senator so that they can take a look at what's going on. That's why I was asking for Andy's home to be locked up, his cars to be parked in front of his house, until we get this all situated, because there is a lot of issues concerning my brother and my family. And now that Andy's dead, if all they want is his money, have it. Have his money, but give me his body back. I don't want his money, I want his body. I never heard them say that. I didn't hear one person in that courtroom say that. They're asking limited edition. Well, that's what that means, that money. So they could spend it. When I was in South Dakota, Thelma had Andy's credit card, and I was hungry and I didn't have no money. I was broke. They didn't care. I had to ask their daughter, Jenny Mestis, to please let me borrow $10 until I got a hold of somebody on Facebook to eat. So they sent me $100 so I can eat. And I gave Jen her money back, but she didn't want it because we was all disagreeing at that moment because of the child molestation issues. That's why they didn't want me. That's why I wasn't there in January. But I did spend time with Shelby. I went there, I spent the night, I talked on the phone. My Aunt Zelda died the beginning of December. So I spent time on my dad's side of the family, and I spent time with Andy. I tried to get along with Thelma and them, but because I knew what had happened, it affected me greatly, because my family had already difficult times within my mom, the adoptions, the poverty, the incidents that happened. We already had our own issues in our family, but to hear my nieces and nephews going through the same exact thing, it really bothered me. Another thing, Thelma or our Iris, our Paulette never said was Andrew Running Cock has over 50 scars on his arms where he tried to kill himself, and it's all over Facebook. Yes, I'm trying to help you though. I'm trying to tell you everything. I used to go, I live up here in Reno, so I would call him, and at least once a year I would go home and Sundance, and I would go see my brother. Together we would take a ride to the hospital. He never always had money, or if I didn't have a place, he wanted me to stay with him because he was so sick. And he used to tell me that if I moved home, everything would be good. His kids would be there, I would be there, Julie would be there, and he even wanted Juan home. But as adults, we were already into our own families, our own way of living. And you're right, maybe I should have had more moved in with him. Maybe I should have put a pamper on him. Maybe if I lived with him, he'd be alive today.
So when you would come home for Sundance once a year, your testimony is swearing that you stayed in his house one time per each time.
Yes, because I never stayed home very long. And there was a time there I stayed in South Dakota for 2 years, but I ran for tribal president, and I was a law advocate right there in the courthouse.
When was that?
2011 and 2012. That's when I pulled out $2.64 billion of embezzlement in Pine Ridge, the housing embezzlement, the money fraud, and I told my brother that if people knew what I had, they'd kill me. And my brother told me, he said, get a hold of all your friends and I'll be your witness and I'll stand with you, because our people deserve a lot much more than what they're getting today. And what I was doing was honorable. But it was, the reality of the story was, because I pulled out the embezzlement, it can get me killed. And my brother was willing to stand with me if I died. That,
During the 2 years that you were in Pine Ridge on the Pine Ridge reservation, from 2011 to 2012, how many nights did you spend with your brother?
I didn't spend a lot of time with everybody. I kept moving. I would move from Betty's house to Retchert Table to Rapid to Sturgis to Andy's, and I never gave anybody a set time or a set date when I was coming or when I was going to move, because I knew what I had. Actually, I own a Jeep 2003 Cherokee, and the whole entire from the back seat all the way to the window was filled up with documents concerning the Oglala Sioux tribe. Those documents were scanned and sent to the United Nations. It bypassed Washington, D.C. However, we did tell Tracy Tuvalu about the embezzlement. And that's when Andy, he always supported what I did. He said it was dangerous, but he supported me. And I told him I didn't want him involved in what I'm doing because it concerned some of his friends.
So are you saying you don't know how many nights?
In 2 years? No, I can't tell you. I can't tell you what time I took a bath or anything in his house. I can tell you I stayed in his house with him. My brother wanted me to live with him. But because of the papers I had, it was a dangerous situation. It was dangerous wherever I stayed. I couldn't stay in one place very long. It came to the point where the tribe even gave me my own house in Wounded Knee. And you know as well as I do in the whole reservation that you do not get a house on the reservation within 12 months unless somebody's pulling some papers for you. And I never took that house. Before 2013 was December of 2012. I left South Dakota, and every time before I leave South Dakota, I make a full circle of the whole reservation of all my loved ones. And I tell them I'm coming back this way. And during that time, I visit everybody. I give them a hug, I give them a kiss, and I tell them, I'm going back now towards Reno, and I don't know when I'm coming back. I'll probably be back next year. Those are always my words towards my people, the ones that really love me and care about me. And one of them was my brother, another one's my Auntie Lorraine Eagle Elk, my cousin Ronnie Little Moon, my lady in Red Shirt Table, my adopted sister Betty Waters in Pine Ridge, my Aunt Beatrice Weasel Bear. Things like people like that, I talk to them. And when they see me one-on-one or they talk to me, they let me know. They don't threaten me. They don't take from me. They don't tell me that oh, you're just because you're not here, we don't love you no more. No, they don't tell me. They always say, visit again, come back. You have a place to stay. Stay here. They tell me something good. So my brother was one of those people. Okay, well, I'm telling you, you know, everything about my brother that I could remember. When Thelma or James was late picking up my brother, and I was getting off work or doing something, whatever it was, around the 5 o'clock hour, Andy would get off the van sometimes, and he'd be at the Shell station downtown. And if he saw me, he'd say, Joanne, give me a ride home. Or I'd tell Andy, Andy, can I give you a ride home and stay the night? Can I wash my clothes? And he'd always say yes. He never turned me down. Matter of fact, one of my blankets are in his house. It's a blue blanket. It's one of those nice blue thick blankets, those expensive blankets. I got it for my son. My brother, he liked it, and he took over on it. And I had to tell my son, Andy has your blanket, and he owns it now. And I bought my son another one, but still, that blanket, Andy has it in his house. It was one of his favorite blankets. No, just the only thing I got to say is if Thelma wants the money, give her the money, but send me my brother. That's what I'm pretty sure they're after. So give it to them. Just give them the money, that limited edition of whatever the tribe gives them, and leave it at that, and then just cremate my brother and send him to me. They don't have to have a service. I'll pray. I'll put up a sweat lodge. I'll ask these guys here in Nevada to help me to pray for my brother. I'll cook. I'll do what I have to with my own money. Me, I'm not that way. After all, when I was home, the Oglala Sioux tribe didn't even help me with $1. I had to help myself. I had to have strangers help me. So, if that's what they want, give it to them. That limited part. That's it. they could have it. And then once it's gone, I hope they're happy. I wish them a lot of fortune with it.
First of all, I'd like to say for the record, Joanne talked about illness, you have renal failure, and a fistula. I was a dialysis nurse for 14 years. I've done many, many dialysis runs. A fistula is a port where you enter the take the blood out, clean it through the artificial fistula is not controlled. It is dialysis. She talked about money. $1,200 to something. Money, money, money. The tribe gives $200 for meals. They give something for clothing. And it's never enough money. Never enough money for what the families would like to do. This year they've been giving us Starkville, which is wonderful. Starkville from Cassie. And that's but I wanted to talk about that. Nobody is going to get rich here very soon. And you know what's sad today is that at 4:30, the barrel insurance program closed. So that means this family won't get any help till Monday. And Joanne, as an adult woman, check on that woman. Any other person on the station? She wasn't stopped by the court later. She wasn't stopped at the doorway by the security. They didn't do that. They simply requested that she not give him security because they didn't raise him that way. So, that needed to be touched on. But all in all, there's nobody going to get rich over this. This man made up, he made his decision with his mother. I'm sorry, family, Joanne has a problem with her mother being an alcoholic. We have to get over something that happened to us. We can't continue to live this now. So with that, Your Honor, we're asking that elevate my client and that be given to and that Joanne wants to file. She should have been here. Oh, yes, she should have been here. What has been here? It can't tell me hours and drive. It's just unrealistic. It's just totally absurd. Calling in to court. If she really had been serious about this, she would have been here. Because then she would have been able to have the right to fight harder. She's not here. To me, it doesn't sound like she even cares to be here. Oh, send me his body. Passion? That's just, beyond me. With that, Your Honor, we're asking all of the papers that are without any facts and proof documents from the lab. We're ready to go. We're ready to go.
Your Honor, I object to Holly. Okay, thank you. Can you speak up, please, so I can hear?
I said, no, there was nothing ever filed prohibiting you to see your brother. Well, what filed, but the doctor said he could not take anything. They couldn't even give him water. They would give him ice cream. And she went in and gave him all that water stuff. We almost lost that right. The doctor said. So after that, the doctor said, "Well, Joanne goes in, make sure a nurse is not watching." So the doctor raised
Please speak up. I can't hear you. Okay.
have knowledge from Joanne visiting Andy at least once a year. Yeah.
Yes, and they could say that about all my whole family, but my whole family don't have a problem with that. My aunt, my cousins, my other brothers, Joe and Eddie,